We're talking emotions today. Your head knows that God is on the throne and sovereign, but your feelings say, so what? How do we deal with that? We'll talk about it today. I'm Jonathan Yellen, and this is Finding the Point. All right, glad to have you here today. Pastor Aaron today, unfortunately, isn't. He has evangelistic meetings this week, so keep an eye out on the Facebook page, or I think he will link the YouTube from the Facebook page, so keep an eye on both, and you can get a look at those messages. It should be awesome. But we just wanted to take a moment to help people out today because there's a lot of anger, all right? Let's be honest with ourselves. We are angry. Many people are angry, at least, with how things are going with our country's elections right now, and with other things surrounding all of the political things in our world. There's a right response and a wrong response to that. The wrong response would be to say, oh, I'm all politics. That's worldly stuff. I'm separated from this. That's not part of me. I just forget it. That's not correct. That's not a correct view. We need to have an eternal perspective on things and recognize, as we said in the intro, God is on the throne, God is sovereign, God is in control. But we also need to understand that our moral responsibility is to act correctly and to make the correct choices in the present. And so in our present right now, we have a corrupt world that is evil and terrible. And we can't just ignore all of it and push it all away and pretend that it doesn't matter to us and it doesn't affect us and that we're not involved in it. What we need to do instead is calculate the correct response to the world that we face. So, how do we do that? Well, first we need to look at our anger, because that is the biggest reaction I think most people are facing right now. Even though we know the right thing, we're facing anger. Now, that makes sense, of course, because anger is a reflex. The classic example, you hit your thumb while you're pounding in a nail. What happens? Pain, anger, it's triggered. There's no, you didn't choose to be angry based on that nail and your the hammer hitting your thumb. But you can choose how you react to the anger, right? So the classic example, you don't choose to be angry, but you can choose how you react, right? So you can react with, oh, you get Yosemite Sam channeling out there, or you can oh, that hurts, and control it and not dwell on it and focus on it, but respond, get the medical kit, whatever you got to do. You're not going to chuck your hammer through the wall or something because you're mad. You're going to respond in a much cooler way. Okay, that's a classic example. But I do want to help you understand anger is a reflex. If you understand the situation in our country right now with elections and everything, you're going to be angry. Okay, and that's okay. That is part of who we are. That is how God made us to be. It's part of our survival traits. Anger is something that we need, and it's fine. Okay, anger is not the problem. The problem is, and let me go to Pastor Aaron's notes over here. He's got for us Ephesians 4:31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. So you see, the problem isn't that we have this reflex to be angry. It's when we keep it. When we keep that anger, and when we turn it into bitterness, and we accelerate it into wrath, and we start the evil speaking and the clamor. No. We have to reject that. We have to push it away with all malice. That's what the Bible verse says. Well, how do we do that, right? Because that's pretty hard, right? I mean, it's hard for me. I get pretty angry, and I just want to stupid, Yosemite Sam again. But the way past anger, first is to accept that it's real and it's part of who you are and it's going to happen. Then the second step is to push it away, like the verse says. And the third step is to choose a correct alternative to embracing the anger. So in your life right now, unless you happen to be somebody who's really keyed in to politics, like maybe you're a lawyer and you're involved with a campaign or something. I don't know. But if you're like me and you're just an average guy, you don't really have the connections to do anything about what's going on with our elections. Unless maybe you got a ton of money, you can donate to a legal fund or something. You pretty much are kind of locked out of actually making any effective change with what's going on. But we do need to do something right with our anger. We can't take anger and make more anger and bitterness and wrath and all those things that are choices that we're making that are sinful. We have to instead choose to do right. So what can we do? I have a few things I thought up of. I think you guys probably can come up with a few. Please put it in the comments on this video and share it with your friends. Also click like, and we've talked about that before. Here's what I have. First, we can pray. We know we can pray. We can always pray. When we are not able to control things, God is, as we've said, He's sovereign and on the throne, so we need to be in prayer. Secondly, we need to encourage each other, okay? It's a tough time. Pastor Aaron and I, we couldn't call because of things going on, but we have been texting each other all week trying to encourage each other's hearts. And, I told him what I thought of his message this week and his singing. You guys don't know him from college, but boy, that guy has really grown as a singer, let me tell you. But we need to pray. We need to encourage each other. I also would say another big thing would be, even though you might not have a ton of influence and you can't really influence the country politically, use what influence you have with your friends, with your family, encourage them and help support them in seeing and understanding the right way to go and how things should be. Use what power you do have to encourage others, because the power of an idea will go beyond the power of your influence. I know that the idea will have so much more impact than your personality or your looks or your list of friends or how many people follow you on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, whatever you're on. So use what you do have and share it. And then it's up to you after that. Like, what are the gifts that you have? I know what gifts I have. I know what I mean, this show is one of the things that we've worked to set up in place to help people. So for me, just doing this video today is something that I've set up to help. But what do you have? Figure that out. Control that anger. Don't let it give way to bitterness and anger and wrath, but instead replace it with something right and righteous. Control those emotions as best you can. Don't run away from the world and the world's problems, but face them and choose rightly. That's all the time I have for today. Thanks for joining us on Finding the Point. I'm Jonathan Yellen. Check out Pastor Aaron's messages this week for the revival meetings. Have a great day.